Hi there, and welcome to yet another episode of Success Builders. So today I'm super excited to have with us Kornelis Berkelaar. Welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Fantastic. Thanks for putting me on board.
Sure, no
That's good.
problem at all. Love having cool people on the show. So where are you calling in from today?
Perth, West Australia,
Nice.
which one of the remotest cities on earth. So yeah, it's a great place to live.
Yeah, definitely. So you're in the future like me. I'm in New Zealand, so we're in the future time zones compared to the rest of the world.
Yeah, it's funny.
Um,
I booked in a session just recently, and she's from America. She goes, "Let's meet Monday," and I tried to connect with her today because it's Monday today,
yeah.
but it's
Prefer
Sunday for them.
Monday. Yeah, exactly. That's the wrong
Yeah.
day. Okay, that's so cool. That's one of the downsides of being in the future. So yeah, I understand that you're a coach and you've been practicing as a coach for quite a long time. I'm sure the viewers are interested to know a bit more in depth about what you do and your journey on how you um, came to doing what you're currently doing. So I'll leave it to you to tell us your story.
Yeah, I guess my story is I was born 95% deaf. Um, so that wasn't discovered until I was about 10 years old, in which I had an operation and sorted it out. So now I've got 100%, which is 50/50 in each year. Um, and what that did was I failed school. Like I never caught back up. I left school with an average of less than 20%, um, and entered the workforce. Never told my boss my marks. So I was hired and introduced to plumbing and that on my own merits, not on the merits of my achievement certificate, which I never showed him. Um, but I found even then I was like surrounded by people but alone, and I'm not sure how to explain that. But I think a lot of people are in that place where, especially now with phones and that
Hmm.
you're with people but you're not with them, and that made a profound effect on me growing up, being married. I married a wonderful woman, seven children, but I was disassociated. And disassociated in when you're dissociated in everything, your business, your
Yeah.
um, personal self. Um, so 20 years or 15, 20 years later, I met a business coach who changed the world because at that point of time, up to that point of the time, I thought the world was a dangerous place. People were not reliable. Um, People were the enemy, or my view was people saw me as the enemy. Um, and having a business coach who looked at what I was doing and he sat me down after a couple of sessions. He says, the world doesn't hate you. And
Right,
that was
right.
kind of a reframe. And that's really where my journey started in coaching. Um, it did take me another 15, 20 years to step into that, but that was where the mindset changed. And that's now when as a coach, I've done 6 years of training. Um, we also had family trauma, a lot of family trauma, and my wife had her family trauma from her childhood, and we ended up in counselling. We ended up seeing a couple of psychologists, and none of that really worked. Um, it was band aids. They teach you how to sort of deal with things, but they don't heal anything.
Yeah.
So the defining moment was I met Remy Pearson in Perth. She came down to Perth. They had a weekend boot camp, and she healed somebody on stage, and that changed everything for me. And I said, I want to do that. And then the next step was I went to Tony Robbins. Same thing. He does the healing on stage, and that's NLP. you change the actual pathways in your brain, how you perceive things and how you relate to things. And that started me on my journey. And I've done 32 courses. I'm now certified NLP. I'm certified coach, which is a thing, even though it's unregulated in Australia. It's definitely a thing to be certified, and there's lots of courses that you can do to become certified. And I would encourage that because it's very intense and you go through your own journey first. So you heal yourself first. And so you're able to help people on that plane of being healed and going through the journey.
That's amazing. I mean, some of the things I actually resonated with, and I'll take you through what those are. So when I was younger, I had a speech problem. I had a stutter, and so it happened when my grandfather died. A lot of trauma, and then started developing the speech problem. And it was very difficult for me at school as well because I did feel isolated. Felt like I couldn't express myself. I couldn't even walk up to a girl and say my name. Just like, I only, yeah. So it was like a really hard time. So confidence wasn't great. So where things changed for me is when I met my wife, and she accepted me for who I was, and she. Uh, Back then we had the landline telephones, and uh, I used to be on a long calls with her trying to talk to her, and I'd have to spell out every second word, but she'd wait patiently and wait for me to finish everything, and it didn't freak her out. So um, just having someone accept you for who you are and believe in you started a trajectory for me to heal, right? And then obviously I wanted to build a life for us. I went out into the workplace and I had to do business and I had to talk to people and I had to break that fear that I had and actually go out and do business, right? And then I even put myself in some tricky situations, like for someone with, my condition. I went into a call center doing vehicle sales and finance. I was doing like 100 calls a day. And at first, I stumbled with some of them, but then I became fluent. It's just a matter of, having the right people and the right environment to support you. And so I totally resonated with when you said that you were deaf, 90% deaf. I was 95% dumb. So, so deaf and dumb together.
Yeah, we make a good team.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I'll be interested. So, like, someone who came to you, like myself, if it was me back in the day when I still had a speech problem, and I came to you, how does your training journey look? I mean, what does that look like, essentially?
Yeah, I love that because that's really interesting because my very first client that I did on my own bat stuttered
Oh yeah?
and I healed him in the first session, which you're not supposed to do. You're supposed to make it a process. But NLP works so quickly that that actually happens because you are changing the confidence and the way that your mind works. And so you're shifting what your brain is telling you.
Yes.
And so this guy was 37 years old. He was a labourer. His family considered him like he was impeded, like he had an impediment mentally. So they treated him like he was um, just a labourer,
Yes.
just a labourer. And the change that happened in his life from within 6 months, because he no longer stuttered, the perception of his family and his brother he was working for just completely flipped.
Wow.
Because obviously intellectually there was nothing wrong with him.
Yes. No, there wasn't anything
And
wrong with me
so
either. Yeah.
as you pointed out, the stuttering was a trauma response.
Yes.
And so when we go back and heal that and give love to that trauma response, which is what NLP does, then the problem goes away because really trauma is just a circumstance and a time in space in time. where you experienced something that was terrible or that was just trauma and it wasn't given the love and care that needed.
Right.
And so NLP, what NLP does is it goes back to that point in time. You don't relive the trauma. You simply go back in time and you give that moment in time the attention, love, and care that it needs.
Right. Okay.
And what that does is then it's that trauma response is gone because now it's received the love that it didn't get.
Right. Right. And is it anything similar to hypnotherapy, or does it have some sort of overlap? Or
Um, no, it's not hypnotherapy. I've never done hypnotherapy. It does have, depending on which method you use, you do have commanding words that you use to cement in the brain that this is your new belief.
yeah.
But it's not, and some people call it hypnotic commands. I don't know. I'm not an expert at that. I'm just an expert at NLP
Right.
and inner child healing. And I love John Bradshaw, um, the home journey. Um, I was blessed because one of the counselors that we went to, he did inner child work, and so he was able to do a lot of healing in our family, and he healed me, and that's why I know it works because I've been through the process.
Right.
Um, I think you would find it very difficult to do it unless you've actually been through some sort of trauma and healed it. If you haven't, it's about knowing. It's about knowing that it can happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're saying that the best NLP coaches are ones that have been through trauma themselves?
Well, the interesting thing is everybody's been traumatized.
Yeah, in some way or other, yeah.
We live in a broken world where no one's perfect.
Mm,
So, as a child, from the age of conception to 7, 8 to 12, we're just a sponge. And so we take on stuff and we make beliefs around that stuff that inhibit who we could be when we're adult. And
right.
so no one's broken. There's no broken people in the world. There's just a trauma response that has cultivated a belief that they can't do something.
That's right.
And so the healing is really just helping you believe something else.
Right. And it doesn't have to be only for like a form of disability. It could also be to improve the success you have in life. Like maybe you have low confidence or low self-esteem, and you just don't feel like you're worthy of being a millionaire, for example.
Yep.
And you're only used to like you think that, oh, even 100 grand is a lot for me. It's like that sort of belief. So I mean, I presume it would help in that sort of scenario as well. Just changing beliefs around money and beliefs around success, that you're actually worthy of those things.
Yeah. And that's my niche. My niche is unshakable confidence.
Mm,
And that revolves around how you perceive money, how you perceive your self worth, and how you perceive what you can achieve in the future. So there's 3 steps, three parts of making you whole, because everybody's capable of achieving everything. Everybody's actually capable of being an Olympic winner. It's all about what you focus on.
right.
Because when you look at Olympics, and this is quite interesting for me when I first got coached myself, and I have 5 coaches that are coaching me personally at the moment, and I'm in 2 coaching, um, what do you call it,
Cohorts?
systems.
Yeah, okay, systems, yeah.
So I'm paying 5 different coaching things because you can't, when you're in the jar, you can't see the instructions from inside the jar.
That's right. Yes, yes, yes.
And
Such a good way of putting it. Wow.
and so when you want to grow, you need someone on the outside of the jar go, hey, wow, look, the instruction says this, and this.
That's right.
And you were
That's
in
such
the
a
jar
cool way
going,
to
oh,
say.
that's pretty cool. Or you mean to say that's all I need to do is absolutely that's all you need to do. Just take this, and this step for now. And then what happens is you expand. So you go into, it's a bit like a turtle or a snail. You get into, or a hermit crab, you find a bigger shell. And then, but you can't see the instructions on the outside of the shell. So then you join a higher level coach or a higher level training, and they go, and you're in that training and you've learnt this, and this, and they go this, and this, and they go, oh wow! So all I have to do is take this and this and this step. Absolutely. So it's just building a foundation, taking the next step, building that builds another foundation, taking the next few steps, another foundation, and so you're basically building your own pyramid to success.
Yeah. And it also helps really having access to someone with life knowledge that can help you. Like, I also had the fortune of, during COVID, things were not great at all. And, I went through a lot of trauma and, I managed to, spend some really good sessions with this really nice man from our church. And he had me come to his house every week on Mondays. We'd like watch a video, and he worked me through the things I was going through, and just him being there for me and listening to me and listening to what I was going through is was really so helpful. And so yeah, not everyone has access to somebody like that. So with you being available to be that person for people, all they have to do is reach out and book and to book a call with you, and that really does can change circumstances, can save marriages like mine, and it can change your life if you're going through a dark spot, career wise or um, you know isolated like through COVID and that sort of thing. It really just helps to have that person to just offload to and just talk to and to be your big brother, as it were. So yeah, I do commend you for what you're doing. I think you can help a lot of people. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah,
Um,
so that really is my niche. My niche is people in business who are overwhelmed, who are in a place where they may not know it, but the wife may ready to be packing her bags.
yeah,
Um, and or he might be packing his bags. Um, and simply because you're not aware of the instructions on the outside of the jar.
that's right. And you're too busy running around the inside of the jar, bashing against the sides,
Yep.
and just burning yourself out, getting tired and going nowhere.
Yep.
Um, yeah, so
And on
that's totally
and on
amazing.
the verge of losing everything that you love.
Yes, exactly. And
Um, yeah, and it's so important to stop and listen to someone, listen to a mate, listen to someone, and then get real help because your mate and your church man can be the first step, but you need real help.
yeah,
Um,
and there's a huge need now, especially for men, to get help. Um, you know, it seems like there's a lot of opportunities with women's retreats and women's support groups and things, but men, it's more few and far between to get those kind of things, right? And um, you know, men don't look after themselves spiritually and mentally as much as women do, I don't think, because we have the more macho approach and it's like, oh, I'll be fine. It's like, she'll be all right. That sort of story. I'll just need to sleep it off and I'll be good, but the thing is, we're all human. Men cry too, right? And you just need to recognize that you do need the help and that don't be too proud to go and get the help because it can change your life. It can open up everything. It can make your relationships amazing. It can make your relationship with your children amazing. It can make your career amazing. So I really must stop using the word amazing now.
yeah,
And yeah, I think men just need to learn to reach out, and that's probably one of our biggest flaws is we want to fix everything ourselves, especially someone in construction. We're so used to fixing things with our hands. We think, oh, we can just watch YouTube and fix ourselves, or we can oh, we'll sleep it off and we'll be fine, or take the right medication or something. But no, we actually need to be vulnerable enough to ask for help. And it's not even help really. It's more like getting someone to be the catalyst in your life to unlock what's already there. And I think that's what you're doing for people, and that's super amazing. Um, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It's not so much that men need help. It's men need to have a new awareness.
Hmm.
They need to be aware that we've been indoctrinated over the last 60 years. I don't know if you were a kid, but I know as a kid for me, you know, men don't cry when you're a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
You know, toughen up, sunshine. Go to Bunnings. And Bunnings for us is I don't know, maybe Walmart for somebody else, but
It's like a hardware
go
store. Yeah.
go to hardware, get some concrete, harden up. Go get some timber, build a bridge, get over it. That's really unhelpful in 99.9% of cases because that's not what the problem is. We have emotions, and what's happened is that kind of mentality has completely taught us that we're not allowed to have emotions. And the most interesting emotion is anger, because anger is actually not an emotion.
Oh yeah.
Anger
What is it?
is a reaction to being unloved, unheard, disconnected. So anger in itself is only a reaction, and it comes from the place of unreceived love.
Interesting. Yeah. And love doesn't have to be romantic love. It can just be like acceptance in general. Acceptance in the workplace or acceptance in a peer group. And if you don't feel like you belong, you feel unloved in a way, and you can get angry about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it starts earlier. It starts when you fell over and you hurt your knee, but there was no blood, and
Mm.
mum or dad or your sister or somebody said to you, "Oh, mate, pick yourself up. You're all right," but you're in pain, and so you
Yeah.
were told that you couldn't have those feelings. So then you didn't get love. So that's the unreceived love. That's the unreceived empathy. It's unreceived comfort that you needed as a child,
Yeah.
because that's what big people are supposed to do. Big people, their job solely is to give you the love, the care, the safety net, and to be cherished. Which, because we live in a broken world, we often can't give because maybe we didn't receive it from our parents. Maybe they didn't receive it from their parents. Maybe their parents went through a war, went through terrible circumstances that they learnt that they shut their feelings off just to survive.
That's
And the
right.
problem with that is that we need to, and I think a lot of people are familiar with this saying, break the tribal cycle. You be like where they've got the matchsticks all in a row and they light one end and it burns and burns and burns. And then you got one that steps out. Be that matchstick that steps out so it doesn't burn the rest of the generations.
Oh, that is such a good image. That is brilliant. So it doesn't burn the rest of generations. Yeah, yeah. That
Yeah.
is so good. Love it.
So
I'm gonna use that.
and I think it's time for us men to step out of that macho, toxic, um, unemotional state and be the real emotional person that you are. Because we all are, we've just blocked it.
That's right. And there's a big sort of movement towards um basically men getting more in touch with their emotional intelligence if they want to become leaders, especially. I think that's one of the most important things to have as a leader is emotional intelligence or emotional quotient, EQ, as it used to be known back in the day for me.
Yeah.
Um, uh, read a headline about that somewhere recently. Um, because thinking back to jobs that I've worked at, I felt that the managers could have done so much better and got so much more productivity out of their staff if they weren't so hard. If there weren't such hard baskets and hard cases, they could have really been able to build so much confidence in their employees, and they would perform a lot better, including myself. I was the opposite. I had a very nurturing background as a child. I had really good parents and really kind, and um, so when going to the workplace and f facing how hard people can be, I wasn't prepared for that. And then it was at the workplace where I was told I need to go and get concrete from Bunnings, that sort of style. Um, you know,
Hard
so
luck, sunshine.
yeah, so it wasn't from my parents, it was from being in the workplace, and I wasn't really prepared from that for that. So, but at the same time, I feel like, you know, even in those same workplaces, those managers had so much churn in staff. And if they'd only learned a little bit of, you know, how to lead with emotional intelligence, their businesses would be huger. They'd have a bigger staff complement and they wouldn't have so much turnaround. So I think what what you're doing is not only good for employees, but great for managers. And I think business owners should send managers by default to learn this kind of thing because especially I don't know, but I think New Zealand and Australia are similar where we're still stuck in the 80s, like the 80s style of management where it's all like fear-based and rather than nurturing based, I think. Do you feel it's like that currently?
It's slowly changing. It's slowly changing. I'm not sure if it's fear-based. It's more authoritarian-based.
Yeah, sorry, that's a better word. Yeah, authoritarian based. Yeah,
Yeah,
versus
and
democratic and collaborative and that sort of thing.
um, I actually don't think that democratic system works well. Um, it's more of a it's more of an emotional, like you say, emotional intelligence. It's more of a emotional rapport
Yeah,
building. So, and I've heard the saying often, "There's no friends in business," which to a point is correct. But you definitely need to build a rapport and a relationship and have a family in your business.
yeah,
Not a toxic family, but
yeah,
a, a rapport family. Because until people take ownership, they're part of a family, they're only there for the money. And you can only pay someone so much to stay in a toxic environment.
yeah, exactly that. And
So you've got a manager that's losing his shit every now and then, and if you've got a boss that's losing his crap every now and then, or if you've got one of the workers losing their crap every now and then, what happens is there's a set of boundaries that we all have, and what happens is they've allowed the boundaries to be stretched further than anyone should be subject to.
right.
And the problem with when they do it every now and then people just go, okay, that's just him for the moment, is that that allows a big gap in accountability.
And it also creates like stress because you don't know when this person's going to blow up next. And then you're walking on eggshells all the time because you don't want to trigger that response. And it
That's right.
makes it very uncomfortable. Yeah, I mean, I experienced that before and it wasn't comfortable, and that's why I'm no longer there. And so yeah, no, I fully believe that that is so important, and that we as managers, as employees, as business owners need to step up and become better versions of ourselves. So, because, you know, the thing is, like you said with the match, you may blow up at that employee, um, but what are the repercussions of that? That that employee is going to go home to his family. Things might already be on a knife edge with his wife or with his kids, and then that last thing sparks a divorce, or um, yeah, or some other fight at home or whatever. So, and then society gets progressively worse because now their children are impacted, and then their children, you know, suffer the same things because of that. So yeah, it's like,
And here we are.
yeah, we're at the start. We can change right now. We can choose to be better people and choose to help others around us be better people. So to be the match that jumps out of the line
Out of
and
the
doesn't um, burn everybody else in the process. I love it. I love that analogy so much. I'm gonna
disconnect,
remember
mate.
that. Yeah, cool.
Disconnect.
Yeah. So if someone wants to get involved with yourself and get into your coaching program, what do they need to do?
They can contact me on corneliszoom.com. They can reach out to me on my Facebook. Book a call. You can book a 30-minute free call or a 5-minute or a 5-day challenge, free challenge,
Okay,
where I'll take you step by step through the process and introduce you to the programs that I help people with. So there's a free coffee there. There's a free Facebook group you can join, and there's a free 5-day challenge. Um,
fantastic.
Build your unshakable confidence.
That sounds good. What I'll do is I'll add all those into the description below, so you'll be able to click on it and be able to connect directly with Cornelis. That's great. That sounds really good that you have those free pathways so that people can just reach out and see if it's for them, right? So that's really good. Love that you have that and that you have a support group. Being part of a tribe is so important. It's what got me through COVID. Essentially, I was part of some online groups and working towards a common cause. It just helped get the mind off of the isolation that you have otherwise. So joining groups is so important. I do recommend that. So thank you so much for being on the show with us today, Cornelis. Do you want to leave any final words with the audience today?
I'd say you're worthy. For me, everyone is created in God's image, so that you are unique, that you are amazing, that you have specifically been born and where you are because you're needed.
That's good. I mean, everyone has a role to play. Everyone is needed in society. Thank you for that, and thanks for coming on the show today. And viewers, please tune in next time. And remember, in the meantime, to always dream big and build bigger. See you again. Bye.